Coach, your freshmen seem to be coming along pretty nicely.
Yeah, they've they're an important part of our team. They're playing a lot of minutes. We're throwing them out there a lot, and they're making progress. Obviously, there's been a lot of ups and downs for all of them, but all three of them are contributing. All three of them, I think, understand they're an important part of our team, and we've kind of thrown them out there and said, you got to go do some things. And I told them, you're on scholarship, you got to go play. And sometimes it's hard to learn on the job, and they're not used to not always having success. You come from out of a high school program where you scored every single night and you were the best player on the court every single night. And sometimes it's humbling, but their effort's been good. They're coachable, and there's a lot of good things ahead of them. Just hopefully it comes sooner than later.
Is it fair to say one between the three freshmen and Bridie, that one might be a little more all around, a little bit ahead of the others?
I don't know. Every once in a while, you kind of get that sense that one of them is, but then something happens, and some of it is just the style of the team that you're playing. Sometimes there's an advantage, and sometimes it's, I think especially with young players, it's, how's life going? School going okay? Do I feel okay? Did I have a good day of practice? And like I've said many times to you guys, so many young players are defined by how many points they score. And if their shots aren't going in, then that affects the other parts of their game. And then when you're a young player, you don't have that life experience to turn it around. So I think you can tell, they've all had their moments where they've been the one that people are talking about. It's just now it's hopefully we can get to a point where there's, the inconsistency is not going to be there as often. But, when you're going through it for the first time and now, we finished the pre-Christmas part of our schedule, and then we go through the Big 12 for the first time. So there's a lot of that that's coming, but they're really good kids. They're a great part of what we're all about, and I think our fans are going to enjoy watching them grow and hopefully really mature into really, really good players here.
Going back to Kristen, one of the freshmen, how has the center position evolved since you've been coach here, like from the 90s to now? Almost everybody can shoot threes.
Yeah, the center position is almost gone the way of the dinosaur. Big kids don't want to. There's not many back to the basket players anymore. Everyone wants to be play like the Golden State Warriors, and face up and shoot threes, and that's kind of the way it's gone. Obviously, not every team does it. There are obviously teams in our league, like a Texas and a Baylor, that have a great low post presence. We played Iowa and Megan Gustafson, but it's a rare rare player that is that way. So, we were blessed to have one of the greatest players ever here in Angie Welly, and I don't know that Angie, if she attempted a three, I can't remember it, and she scored over 2,000 points. But the position has changed. It's a face-up game. I think the game itself, in a lot of ways, has evolved into a positionless game. There's no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're all players, and everything's about matchups and spacing in basketball now. And you need to develop a skill set, even as a taller player, that allows you to go away from the basket. Because it's just, and for us, that's always been something that's important because we've never really had the overpowering low post presence to play against the Baylors and Texas and Oklahomas and all those kind of people. So, that's something that we've looked for in our recruiting, and I think Kristen's a great example of that. She's probably more comfortable facing the basket than she is with her back to the basket.
I'm sure there's a lot of thought that goes into before you schedule a day game on a weekday. But all things considered, do you think this is the right thing to do for your players?
Yeah, it is. I know that some people weren't real happy with it, and I understand. And anyone who's upset, they can email me, call me. I'm the one that picked the time. To be honest with you, the number one reason we did it is I want to get our players home. They're all taking early flights on the morning of the 26th to get back because we had a game on the 28th, and we were going to figure out a way to get them out on the night of the 21st. So almost all of them are going out that night. The kids are out of school in the local school district, so we thought, well, maybe it's something to do. And obviously Nicholls State has to travel home. So I completely understand, some of our season ticket holders and fans that can't get off work. And it's not something that we did lightly. We thought a lot about it, but the number one thing for me was I wanted our players to get out of here and get home. And, you know, we weren't going to make them travel on Christmas, but to get here for practice on the 26th, they had to take an early flight. So, you know, there'll be a few that didn't work out for them. We apologize for that, but you can watch on Cyclones TV and hopefully still root for us that day.
What do you need to get out of that last non-conference tune-up?
You know, I think the biggest thing is you just want to go out and play in a way that you feel like you're in a spot where you're ready to move on. You know, whether you're ready or not, it's coming after Christmas. But I think right now it's more you want to get them out of here. You want to leave it with a smile on your face. You want to feel like you played well. You want to, again, give your fans a good effort. There's nothing, you know, major game planning thing that, we need to get this done and cleaned up before the next game, because the problem is as soon as you talk about that, they leave on the 21st and you come back on the 26th and everything you talked about, they're like, what were you talking about? They're more worried about Santa Claus and Mama's cooking, and I don't blame them. So am I. I mean, we're all that way. So I think the biggest thing is just, you know, get everybody involved. We have a good couple days of practice. Make sure they understand that this is a process that you need to go through. And one of the things that we talk about with our team all the time is anyone can start something, you need to finish it. We have a game on Thursday at 1 o'clock, and our pre-conference schedule ends on that day. It didn't end yesterday, it doesn't end tomorrow. So show some maturity, go out, compete, do the right things, and hopefully get out of here and playing well and excited about what's coming after Christmas.
Do you feel like they're ready to move on to conference play?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think most teams kind of get to that point where, okay, we got here. And the weird part about basketball is we have, you know, 2/3 of the games left, but 2/3 of the season is over. You know, if you look at a basketball season, it's about six and a half months. Well, you start in October, November, December. By the time you get back, you look at January and February, and then it's done. So even though your calendar is 2/3 up, your schedule's backloaded. And I think the players understand that, and they know. And now you sent your physical, mental clock that, okay, we come back from Christmas, it's time to play Big 12 basketball. And I think everyone, you know, the excitement for us is, you know, here, you know, obviously with what's going on with the bowl game, it'd be fun, and with the success our guys are having, and they start right the next day too. So the post-Christmas time at Iowa State is going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully we want to be a part of it.
Is Ray kind of emerging as a backup point guard, or do you see her getting more minutes after?
Well, no, I mean, I think, you know, as of yesterday, you know, she's going to continue to get more minutes. Now the challenge is what, you know, like we just talked about with the freshman, you may go see her in practice today and she looks like she's never played before. So, you know, she's had those moments. They all do. I mean, but, you know, Ray's a big piece of what we want to do, and it allows Emily to play the two, and it gives us some flexibility that we need. But, yeah, certainly that was a really good performance yesterday at both ends of the court, and hopefully it's something that she can build on, because we need her to be that kind of player.
Does finding that consistency, does that just come with the experience?
Yeah, I think it does. But everyone talks about game experience. I think the consistency comes, too, from how you approach every single day. You know, I don't care what job you have. You know, you don't just show up on game day, or you just don't show up when you have a big presentation to the boss. You do it every single day. Today, when no one's watching, here in about 20 minutes, is just as important to Ray as what yesterday was, because you need to build on yesterday. You need to correct yesterday. And then the next day is the same way. And young players sometimes don't see that. It's kind of like, well, you know, I'm practicing. I'm kind of tired of this. Oh, I'll be ready on game night. You know, I'm a gamer. You know, don't worry about me. And that sounds good, and most players we've ever had here don't really fit that. And so the challenge is a day-to-day, and like we've said, and a lot of people, you know, it's a process. And the people that embrace the process on a daily basis, when people aren't looking, and when it doesn't seem to be as important, it needs to be. Because all those little things add up, and the little things add up to big things. And the big thing for kids is, do I get to play, do I get to shoot, and hopefully do I get to win? And that's a daily thing that all good players understand.